obviously there's a huge difference between makeup for the stage and makeup for film. And in film, subtlety is all. I mean, it's wonderful in film if you want to make a sudden statement, like, pink cheeks. I look like a drunk. Sorry, I shouldn't have done that. I'm mucking around. But anyway, if you want to make a big, bold statement, it's great. You can in film. And as I said, with Hedda's eyebrows, a little gash of red lips, and, you've got a whole character in the face. On stage, you have to make often make a bigger statement than that. But, I'll tell you the other thing that's so important, both on stage and especially in film, obviously, is the lighting. Because you can have the most brilliantly wonderful, hair and makeup and all the rest of it. And if the lighting is not there to help you, you're screwed. So lighting in film in particular is all important. It's not something you can control as an actor. That is out of your control, unless you're Marlene Dietrich, in which you say, "Where's my key light?" But, those days are past. It's difficult to tell nowadays when the light is bad because of digital film. And with digital film, you can film in such low light. I'm amazed nowadays, often when I work on film, that there seems to be absolutely no light. And I say, "Can you see what we're doing?" And they say, yes, we can see. And that's because of digital film. So, things have really changed in that direction, which is very helpful, incidentally. You can shoot for longer. Yes, you certainly know if you've got a horrible straight down over the head light, you're going to look terrible. Maybe it's right that you look terrible. Maybe it's right for the character, for the scene, for everything. And that's great when the lighting is absolutely in synchronicity with the story and the story you're trying to tell. But if it's not, if it's just ugly, that's a problem. But it's very rarely like that because cinematographers understand light above all, I mean, there are nice little tricks that cinematographers can do to help you out, like a little tiny inky above the lens just to pick up a light in your eyes, or, sometimes a nice little light box all the way around the camera makes you look very pretty. There are various tricks of the trade that sometimes you're lucky enough to have. But again, lighting, makeup, all has to service the story because you're telling a story. And I always say, does it tell the story? Does the wig tell the story? Is this the story I want to tell at that point in time? Is this red lipstick, is it telling the correct story? So ultimately, everything we do is contributing to telling the story. Sometimes you have to make this decision that you are not going to wear makeup and you're not going to look very pretty because that is the role. It's a terrible thing. Nowadays, a lot of actresses I've noticed have fake eyelashes attached, permanently attached extensions. So they all have these fabulous eyelashes. I mean, they're gorgeous, but they can't take them off. And for some roles, they're completely wrong. You have these absurd, great long eyelashes, on a nurse in the First World War or something on the front line, and it just looks ridiculous. So, just be conscious of doing things to yourself that it is going to really limit you when it comes to playing certain characters. It's much better to have an empty space and add things to it than to arrive with all of these bits and pieces and now the makeup artist, whoever, has to work around them. But, there are ways of making you, as I said earlier, to wear no makeup. My face anyway, because I'm blonde, I'm fair. My face just disappears. There's nothing there to hold on to. So I need definition. I need definition in my eyebrows, really lightly in my eyes, slightly in my mouth. So actually, I was wearing makeup in Prime Suspect, and I was wearing makeup in Gosford Park, but makeup applied with such a light hand and so judiciously that you don't see it. You must never, never see it. That's the thing. Sometimes, if you've been in the same makeup, which you often have since, say it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon and you're doing a close-up, you've been in that makeup since 6 o'clock in the morning. And, both you and your makeup are tired, So it's, if you have the time, and this is where it's really good to have a good relationship with the first AD and the second AD to know what the timing of the day is going to be. And if you have time to do something like this, say, do I have an hour there? And they'd say, yes. And then you can go into the makeup trailer and say, take it all off and let's put a whole new makeup on. But, that's where you have to be sensible, make a relationship, as I say, with the first AD, the second AD, have a real understanding of the timing of the day. What you don't want to do is suddenly disappear, have no makeup on, when suddenly you're going to be called onto the set to shoot a scene. But, makeup does get tired and you get tired. And I've often found myself shooting a close-up at the end of the day. It used to be in the olden days, women's close-ups could only happen between certain hours in the day when they're woken up enough but not yet tired, sort of somewhere between 11 and 3 in the afternoon or something. But, those days are long gone. There are two valuable things in a close-up. One is powder and the other is sweat. It's always quite nice for certain scenes to have a nice little sweat going on, And then in other scenes, it's really not a good idea to be at all shiny. If you're a young actor on the set and you feel you're being pushed into something that you're really uncomfortable with in terms of the way you look, either by the makeup person or the hair person or the costume person or the director or all of them together, that's really tough because I think the only advice I can give you in that situation is suck it up, get on with it, and then get through it. I've seen actresses reduced to tears in the makeup trailer because they feel that their wig or their hair, the way their hair's been dressed, it really doesn't suit them. We all get slightly obsessed with certain looks. What I do is, like I did with the writers on Prime Suspect, I give the makeup artist absolute freedom to do whatever they want with my face, because I always think what they have to offer might be more interesting than my old habits. And you can get stuck in old habits about the way you look. And you see women, don't you, on the street, they're still wearing their hair the same way they wore it when they were 25. Only now they're like 65 and it's really not a good look. So we all, as women, we can all get, and men too, incidentally, get stuck with their hair and or a certain kind of beard. And they get stuck in that look and they think if they don't have that, they're all at sea and they don't know who they are. And as an actor, again, your face, your look has got to be the empty space upon which you put elements. And, to get hooked on your hair always has to be a certain way. It always has to be, have product in it. Or as a guy, you always have to have a shadow of a beard or, whatever it is people get stuck with. Really, I advise you not to get stuck. Allow the makeup artist, the hair artist to come with their own ideas, look at what they're presenting, and then maybe you can have your own ideas and add to it or take away from it. But, listen to them and be open to having a different look that you're just not familiar with.